Good morning, Mr. O'Neill.
Good morning.
Sir, you're charged with terroristic threat of a family or household member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you. All right.
Good morning, Judge. Just 1 second. Pulling up right now.
Okay.
So,
I thought I was supposed to have an attorney here today.
Did you hire one?
No, the judge that I talked to said that I could have.
That was for purpose of magistration, but it doesn't carry with you until the end. You don't have a lawyer this time.
all right, Judge. On April 12th, 2025, officers responded to a family disturbance call in Harris County, Texas. The officer ID'd the complaining witness by their Texas ID card. The complaining witness stated that the defendant threatened to shoot her. The complaining witness ID'd the defendant by his Texas driver's license. The complaining witness stated that she is the defendant's daughter and they all live together in their grandfather's residence. The complaining witness stated that the defendant threw her clothes outside. The complaining witness stated she asked the defendant to go get them. The complaining witness stated that the defendant stated, "I have something else for you," and then took his hand and pointed it at the complaining witness, stating, "I'm going to shoot you." Complaining witness stated that they were in fear due to multiple guns being in the house and the defendant having a violent history. The complaining witness stated she observed the defendant holding a black long gun. The officer detained the defendant. The defendant refused to ID himself, repeatedly stating, "What is going on?" The Miranda rights were read. The defendant denied all allegations and stated his daughter, the complaining witness, was lying. Defendant advised that he hadn't seen the complaining witness all day long because she was at the hospital visiting her mother. The officer inquired about this, and the complaining witness stated that she did not go to the hospital. It was only her grandfather who went. The complaining witness stated that she was home and the defendant did see her and threaten her.
All right, Mr. O'Neill, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with this person and not to be in possession of weapons. These are your bond conditions. If you violate these conditions, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
I don't have.
Just don't say anything at this point. Just don't have any weapons. Don't have contact with this person. There's a protective order that's been issued in this case. I would get to know it. If you do something to violate the protective order, they will potentially file additional charges against you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
What about the house? That's where all my stuff is.
What I'm going to do is I'll appoint you a lawyer today. You can talk to the lawyer about what's going on, but I'm going to do everything in my power to protect everybody in this at all costs. You understand? Okay. So look,
She can go wherever she wants. But I'm just asking.
let's do this. Let me appoint you a lawyer. You can talk to the lawyer and we can go from there. Now is not the appropriate time to go through this.
I've been staying at a shelter.
Okay, hold on.
And
I already have an application. So Vic, do you mind appointing him? I already have an application on file. For now, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria while you take a seat in the jury box while I find you a lawyer. We'll have you talk to this person and we'll go from there.
the reset happened in a few days.
No, these cases are both almost a year old, like June, July of last year. He's been living with his sister and his mom ever since this happened way back when. I guess you called the police, reported it, so it's not a current thing with him. I know it's a serious charge.
Okay,
But-
so I'm okay with it then. I'm okay with him going back. We'll do no threatening, no harassing with sister. Okay, my main concern is the other drugs though, right? That I don't want him using. And I don't know if that contributed to or was a factor of, so he can go back. We'll take off the residential restriction, no threatening, harassing, and then just no using. And then, but we'll have to test him a lot to make sure it's not used, that's it. Whatever day you want. Or actually, we'll see him on Thursday, to make sure he's not using.
Sure, I think I'll be,
You can always Zoom, remember.
Judge, may I interject? Was this on O'Neill?
it was like,
Everyone-
Garcia.
Just making
Garcia.
And then I have one more to ask about, Judge. Mr. O'Neill, he's a new case that we have. Michael O'Neill. Prosecutors have been working on this. I think they just made the rip call. He's been out of his house for,
Oh, right.
I think a week, and he cares for his elderly father, who's like 80, and he has some kind of dementia problem where he wanders out and they can't find him. His mom was also there, but they both had strokes not too long ago, at the same time.
My issue is with the complaining witness, though. Does the complaining witness live there? Is she in fear of him? Is she okay with him going back? If she is, I would be too. But I want to follow what she wishes, like what she wants, because she's obviously a resident of the house as well. And Have you had a chance to contact her?
Yes, Judge, I just spoke with her.
And
A little bit of context to the situation. The defendant is her father.
come up. O'Neill. No. O'Neill. Hold on. Let me so you can hear this.
Bridge stuff.
Okay. My sole issue is protecting as many people as I can. That's what I want to do. I know, or it may come at an inconvenience to you, but I like to follow the wishes of the complaining witnesses because I don't want them to live in fear. There's nothing worse than having to live in fear, having to walk on eggshells, and that's what we try to prevent here. And I know that you have your side of the story, and there's always two sides of the story, but the best recipe that I usually find is keeping people away from themselves. The problem is that may be a disadvantage of you because you may have nowhere else to go. But what other choice do I have? I don't know, right? Tell me, you were able to speak to her.
Yes, Your Honor, and I'll relay the message she gave me. So just a little bit of context, the defendant is her father, is what she says. She says she's had no contact with him since the incident, but she does say she's been getting updates from family about the defendant that she's not asking for. She said that she's getting married and planning on starting a family, and her heart's desire is to have her father in her life, but she said that he's proven that it cannot happen. She states that she is done with her relationship with the defendant. The defendant has not changed. She wants no contact. She's currently working on making her restraining order permanent. She states that the defendant is not trying to get help. She states that she wants anger management, Alcoholics Anonymous, and Narcotics Anonymous treatment.
So there's drug issues and alcohol issues.
According to the complaining witness, Your Honor, yes. So we know about the situation.
Stop. Don't say anything. Just don't.
And so we know about the situation where he needs some of the items he has at his place. She says that she has them placed in bags. She says that she's either told the family to handle giving the items to the defendant, or she is okay if the defendant comes with officers while she's not present.
So she obviously lives at that house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who, is it grandfather's house? Whose house?
I'm not sure.
I mean,
It was a grandpa's house, his father's house. But he'd actually moved in there to help out with his parents. And, well, I told you he strokes at both times.
yeah, but I can't, she's living there and, it's,
So I'm told that his daughter is a drug user judge and that this happened late at night. In fact, even in the DIMS, it says that this alleged
I mean, I
assault.
can't really,
Oh, no, but it says alleged assault happened at 2:30, but we didn't call the police until 4, I believe. And she mentions a long gun, but there was no guns found at the scene.
I don't know. I just don't want you to, she doesn't want to have contact with you. So don't have contact with her. Don't use any drugs. Don't use alcohol and making that a condition of your bond as well. I don't know what to tell you, but she lives there. And if I allow you to go back to that house, it's a recipe for disaster.
Judge, he does live with his parents and has nowhere else to stay right now. He's been living at the Star Hope shelter for a week. In fact, they arrested him in his underclothes and he's wearing clothes that were given to him.
Well, I mean, like you said, he can go back and get the stuff. He's got to go with an officer. And at a time that she's not going to be there, I guess we could work that out.
His ID and cell phone, all that are at the house and they can't
I
get
mean,
that.
she has it in bags ready to give to him. You know what? Also do this. If you want to, we can roll this to tomorrow, but will you also reach out to, I guess, the homeowner and get their opinion? Are they okay with him coming back? Perhaps you can get their side as well and see what they say. So we get like a neutral and detached person to see, is this because he obviously wants to go back to the house? We know that she doesn't, but the problem is that if I let you go back to this house, you will invariably at one point or the other, you're going to run into her, and it's going to be disastrous because it always is, and then you're going to end up back in jail. You're out because we gave you a free bond right now. You need to understand that if you go back, you probably have no one in this world that's going to pony up 5,000 to 10,000 to get you out. You will be stuck like Chuck. You need to consider these things when you're out there. I'm not asking much from you. I just don't want you to have contact with this person and don't have any weapons and don't use. That's all I'm asking. You want to roll this tomorrow to see if there is perhaps a way that they could kind of separate, kind of bifurcate the house, so to speak?
Again, is your father able to answer the call if they call and talk to him?
No,
Well, look, I don't want you guys to talk here. let's do this. Let's roll it to tomorrow. See, do you mind reaching out? Is there a possible way to kind of divide the house in half or is there like a garage apartment or is there like a shed or something that he could stay at? I don't know, but
That's how I've been.
You're separate from her.
Yeah, I'm separate from all of them.
We can talk about, he's telling me that he's separate, living away from everybody, his own room, I guess.
I want to hear from them too.
Sure.
I don't want to hear it just from you. I want to
Oh,
hear
absolutely.
that they feel protected. That's
I
my
understand.
concern,
I understand.
So we can, come back tomorrow because it's already 1 o'clock, right?
What time tomorrow?
Same time, early, 8, 9 o'clock. So,
We'll be here tomorrow.
so guys, this is Mr. O'Neill. So no contact, no weapons, no going to the house for the time being, no drugs, no alcohol, random testing, please. All right, Mr. O'Neill,
Testing.
no drugs, no alcohol, and I'm going to test you to make sure you're not using. If you test positive for drugs or alcohol, I'm going to put you in jail. Don't use.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good luck, Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you, Judge, my excuse.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Sir, you were charged with 2 cases. You're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine on each of those cases. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. On April 10th, 2025, officers were dispatched to a motor vehicle crash in Harris County, Texas. An officer already on the scene advised the officer responding that the defendant stated that he had a firearm inside of the vehicle that belonged to him. The officer identified the defendant by his Texas driver's license. The officer observed the defendant to have slurred speech and watery, glassy eyes. The officer observed an odor of alcoholic beverage emitting from the defendant's breath. The defendant consented to perform standard field sobriety tests. The HGN was a 4 out of 6. The walk-in turn was a 3 out of 8. The one-leg stand was a 2 out of 4. And the officer located a handgun inside of the defendant's vehicle during an inventory search of the motor vehicle. The defendant refused to provide breath. A blood warrant was obtained and his blood was drawn.
Okay. Can you tell me when was the first DWI? Number 1, how many DWIs? Number 2, number 3, does he have a valid license, please?
The date of the first DWI, Your Honor,
Correct.
2023, Montgomery County.
Okay. What was it? Well, obviously you did some time. Any other DWIs?
No, Your Honor, but if you find it pertinent, a reckless driving from 2019.
Was it pled down?
It's, convicted on a lesser charge.
So what was the,
The original,
right?
Your Honor, I believe the original charge was a driving while intoxicated.
Your Honor, running license now, they haven't given alcohol access yet. It's eligible, Your Honor.
You know what a third DWI is in Texas? A third DWI is a felony offense of the 3rd degree where you're looking at 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. I don't know what is going on with you, Mr. Carrillo, but if I find that you're consuming at all, I'm now placing a restriction on your license. You are not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. On your other ankle, I'm going to put a GPS monitor on you so I know where you are at all times because I don't want you out in the middle of the night. And on your other ankle, you're going to get a scram so I know that you're not consuming. If you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, now is the time for you to take care of it, because if it becomes a problem while you're on bond, I will do it for you and you're not going to like the way that I take care of it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You are not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. If I find that you use, I will revoke both of your bonds, put you in jail, no more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I want you to understand one more thing, that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my streets at all costs. Watch the news every single day. We have a DWI fatality in our town. It's unacceptable. Do
Yes,
you
sir.
understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm not taking away your privilege to drive, but if I find that you're consuming, it's not going to go well for you. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Pham, and he will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. For the time being, I don't want you out in the middle of the night. We can talk at a later date if things, okay?
Your Honor, with the court, is waiving the fees?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right this way. Los Angeles,